Welcome back to the channel. In tonight's Who's Who, we're going to talk about the number one nemesis against the President of the United States, Donald Trump. And that is, as you know, the media. The media has an absolute, total, and complete hatred for the President of the United States. But why? Never before in our history has the media disregarded common decency, common courtesy. You can certainly disagree with an individual or a person or a president or a king or a queen, but to have such spiteful attacks, and this isn't just by the media, this is then being returned back by the President of the United States. And a lot of times, maybe even the media would subside their attacks, and the president is still attacking him. But this absolute total hatred between the two is never been seen before. Either the media has aligned with the administration, or when in opposition, they have at least played a gentleman's game when trying to disagree with the presidency, with the direction that a sitting president is taking. But this is on a whole different level that we've never ever seen before. It's just it's really kind of sickening, disgraceful, and I just tune out all that specifics. What I'm interested in, and what you should be interested in, is why. Why is the media attacking this individual to such an unbelievable extent? Okay. So far, we have seen, especially, again, we're using this global pandemic as a testing ground for understanding individuals. And it should be known, and you should be thinking, that there are individuals, organizations, groups, companies, governments that have agendas of controlling people. This potentially could be one. We're going to find out, at some point, if this is something that was started in order to have these, to gain the upper hand and to get control. But if you look at the administration, if you look at what's happening with the Trump administration, you'll see that all of their actions are really trying to help the people. Whether the organizations now in government, let's say the SBA, Small Business Administration, or the Treasury or the IRS are trying to financially help people, or they're trying to get masks, they're trying to help the healthcare workers, trying to help people. Donald Trump has obviously said this is not the fault of the people, right? They did not deserve this, and he's trying to do whatever he can. And why they every single step continue to try and derail him from trying to do that, right? From trying to help the people. So it simply begs the question. I mean, is there any logic behind that? Why in the world would you have media where you have people that actually buy newspapers, that they pay a company to print a newspaper, or they buy a subscription online to read a newspaper, and that newspaper is going against an individual who is trying to help the American people, right? Attacking that person on such an unbelievable level. And this has been going on since this man has been elected into office. So what is going on? Well, we're probably not privy to that information, but I do know what we do know. And that is, above all of this, again, on a dimensional playing field, okay, not all this surface level bickering, arguing, attacks that are going on down on the surface level, but again, this 30,000-foot view looking down, you have an organization, the media, that is definitely being influenced by in large segments of the media, is definitely being influenced by forces of evil. And that's really not up for debate. Individuals that, let's say, don't believe that, well, that's, that's fine, but that's probably because they're just looking here. They're looking at individuals that tell the reporters or organizations or news outlets or TV anchors that are calling the president this, that, and the next thing, and he's fighting back. They're looking at that. I'm saying none of that really matters. What really matters is, again, this whole control element that is going on in the forces of good and evil that influence individuals' dimensional form to act in a certain way. And that we can definitely see that in this ultimate battle, there is definitely activity going on. The media on one side and this firewall that God put in place on the other side that's stopping all this. Again, think about everything that they have tried to put on this man, who again is just a man, just a human, but on the presidency from the day that he was elected. We're talking about the Russia, Russia, we're talking about things starting off initially, that Donald Trump is some Russian spy. Okay, whatever that was, from day one, and even prior to that, they have been trying to derail this person. Probably because he's not someone that's bought and paid for in government. They don't have things on him. Sure, they had some sex scandal stuff and all of that, but a lot of people seem to overlook that. They were tired of the economic situation, and before he was elected, I just said, to me, this is a pretty simple one. This is really all about people vote their pocketbooks, right? As you know the saying, right? It's all about the economy, stupid, right? It's really, really that simple. And but he was also a populist and got into what a lot of Americans are about, whatever side of the aisle that they're on, right? Patriotism is something that a lot of people can connect to. So dialing into this patriotic theme is not, this is about me helping you or me giving you something, or this is a new direction I'm taking this. This is, this is really all about you. And I'm going to return this nation. I'm going to put it back into your hands. I'll be here for 4 or 8 years. And when I'm done, I'm going to do the best I can to put it back into your hands. And then you guys deal with it. So that message, that more patriotic message of it's all about we the people, that resonated with an awful lot of people. And I think it's just simple common sense. Everybody knows that all of these corporations, media outlets, governments, all these other organizations, health organizations all across the world, they all have an agenda. And their agenda typically has a lot to do with money. So the more that they can impose on people via control, the better that, the more financially enriched they become, right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Even in the Bible, it says, listen, money is not evil in itself, right? But money is certainly a root of many types of evil. And this is just one of them. So all of this control, they cannot control this individual. And maybe there was some illegal activity going on. We'll see over the coming months or years. And maybe they were trying to stop that because they knew that he wasn't part of it, and he could expose them, and then the house of cards would start coming down. That may or may not be the case. That's not the point. The point is that what's definitely happening in the media, and has been happening for a while, but now it has just elevated to an unbelievable level of absolute and total and complete disdain for the president. That's all happening again on this dimensional battlefield. And the dimensional influences on people in the media and on Donald Trump's side, they're coming to a head. And we already know that we're now in the final end time sequence. Again, this sequence could last weeks, months, decades, who knows? That's not the point. The point is that we know for certain that something is different. There is unbelievable disdain from the media and the president with each other. They are fighting. This is like like a cage match. This is a fight to the death for both of them. So anytime something gets that elevated, people get that excited about something on one side or the other, you know that dimensional influence is definitely a part of it. And so this should telegraph to each of you, we need to continue to keep an eye on what's going to happen over the coming months and years with any organization that continues to try and control and amass a large, a very wide control of people, and we need to always pay attention to that. So the media is definitely one that you need to look on both sides. Try to find a source on each side of the aisle. If it's something political nature, if it's something that's outside of the political realm, is there control that has something about that story or about that report that has something to do with control? Constantly just start training your mind to always think that way. Then you'll have discernment to say, this is something that we need to watch out for. And when a bunch of organizations, bunch of media outlets, organizations, corporations, whatever it is, all get together, in other words, they're all fighting for their own bottom line, but they all, for some reason, all get together on towards one agenda, without a doubt, that dimensional influence is definitely a part of driving these organizations and companies and countries, governments, all of that. Because remember, all of that all comes down to people. That's it. President of the United States, just a man. Anchors on media outlets, CEOs, they're just people, just like you and me. But the more those people that are influenced by one side or the other in this dimensional battle, and the more of them, let's say on one side of that battle, that are then aligning and coordinating together, but they could be entire world apart, but they're then cultivating the same agenda, you can guarantee dimensional influence is behind it in some fashion. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next Who's Who video.